On the afternoon of October 7th, 2022, paramedic engine 728, paramedic engine 732, and ambulance 728 were dispatched to Maddie Stepanek Park in Rockville for an injured person after a fall. En route, En route to the call type was upgraded to a cardiac arrest. Upon arrival to the scene, crews found bystanders performing chest compressions on the patient. Witnesses told crews that the patient was playing pickleball when he suddenly became very pale and diaphoretic and then fell backwards, striking his head on the court. Bystanders who were trained in CPR assessed the patient and confirmed that there was no pulse or respirations and initiated chest compressions with the assistance of 911 call taker Gregory Graves until the arrival of Montgomery County Fire and Rescue.
We are at Maddie K. Stepanek Park at the pickleball court. We have a man down with bleeding to his head and barely a pulse. Please hurry.
Okay, is he awake?
Is he awake? He is not really awake. He's slightly awake.
Is he conscious at all?
He's not really conscious, no.
I've already sent the call for them to be dispatched to you, so this isn't delaying anything. I have some instructions to give
Okay.
you. You say he stopped breathing?
Yes.
Okay. Listen carefully until you have new chest compressions. I want you to place the heel of your hand on the breastbone, right between the nipples. Put your other hand on top of that hand.
Sir, I'm a physician. How far are the paramedics out?
I don't know how far they are, but they are coming to you like the siren call has already been dispatched. They are en route to you. They've been driving to you since we started this call.
Fire and rescue crews arrived on scene and assumed chest compressions and assisted with ventilations via bag valve mask while the patient was placed on the cardiac monitor. At the first rhythm check, the patient was found to be in ventricular tachycardia and was defibrillated. Chest compressions were continued and vascular access was obtained via an IO. Further assessment revealed a large puddle of blood near the patient's head. A family member who was present on scene confirmed that the patient was on blood thinners. At the next pulse check, the patient was found to have palpable pulses and was attempting to breathe on his own with irregular respirations. The patient's end tidal was assessed. Crews decided to hyperventilate the patient due to the head injury and irregular respirations and provided ventilations to maintain a capnography reading between 35 and 40. Crews worked together to obtain a 12-lead EKG, which showed a sinus tachycardia rhythm, assess patient vitals, control and bandage bleeding from the head wound, and package the patient for transport to Shady Grove Medical Center. En route to the hospital, the patient's condition was monitored and reevaluated, and medical consultation to Shady Grove was performed via EMRC. The patient maintained a respiratory drive but was still assisted with ventilations via bag valve mask. The patient was only responsive to painful stimulus, but eventually started to make purposeful movements. At one point during transport, the patient reached up and pushed the bag valve mask off of his face. The patient's breathing regulated, and he began to spontaneously open his eyes. By the time the unit arrived at the emergency department, the patient was talking to the crews and asking questions about what happened. The patient was able to answer questions about himself and events prior to the incident. Upon arrival to Shady Grove Adventist Hospital, patient care was transferred over to the staff. The patient was stabilized and taken to the catheterization lab and later transferred to Washington Adventist Hospital, where he had an automatic implantable cardiodefibrillator, or AICD, implanted. The chain of survival begins even before the arrival of fire and rescue crews. Early recognition of an emergency and activation of emergency resources, as well as early CPR and defibrillation, increases a patient's chances of survival. Thanks to the heroic actions of the bystanders on scene, the calm and professional interaction from 911 call taker Gregory Graves, and the knowledge, actions, and teamwork from Montgomery County Fire and Rescue crews, the patient was discharged home neurologically intact on October 23rd, 2022. And he's here with us today and would like to say a few words.
Good morning, I'm Ken Key. I'd like to tell a story about an incident that not only changed my life, but my whole perspective toward life. On October 7th, I went to Maddie Stepanek Park at King's Farm to play pickleball. My friends had told me, "You don't want to do that, it'll kill you." It was just a normal day, nothing out of the ordinary. Until that, when I woke up in the afternoon in the emergency room at Shady Grove Adventist Hospital, I had no idea what had happened to me. I was told by the hospital doctors that I had gone into cardiac arrest and had lost consciousness. I noticed that my scalp was covered with dry blood. I had staples in the back of my head, and I had an IV tacked into my shoulder. A month later, I spoke to Megan Harrell over the phone about the letter I received about today's ceremony. I asked her about the paramedics who responded to my 911 call. She told me there was probably at least 2 fire trucks and an ambulance involved, maybe as many as 10 rescue personnel involved. I didn't really have a good understanding of the events that took place that day. The level of skill and devotion that was required to revive me until I saw what happened to Lamar Hamlin of the Miami Dolphins on Monday Night Football. After watching that event on TV, I felt so lucky and blessed that you were all there to save me. I have the highest level of esteem and gratitude for your service and dedication. I'm so appreciative of what you have done for me. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I'm so grateful to have a second chance at life. Thank you very much.